Kunja Bihari. Gopi Jana Vallabha Girivardhari. Yasoda Nandana Braja Jana Ranjana Yamuna Tira Banachari Jairada Madhava Kunja Bihari. Wow. So, Prahlada Swami, you are the man. I'm just the sub. So, yeah, I know. I knew you all were getting into the nectar when they bumped me out.
You were there too.
Well, I was there for the first part, but not the
More
real
exciting part. They're both exciting. So we're reading from Notice, dear esteemed. Do we have a Bhagavatam? Oh, it's in the book. You're hiding it. Om Agyanatimirandasya Gyananjana Salakaya Chaksura Militam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. Namo Vishnu Padaya Krishna Prasthaya Bhutale Śrīmate Bhaktivedanta Swami Tinamane. Namaste Saraswatam Deve Gauravani Vicharane Nirvishesha Srinivade Paskatyade Satarane. I hope you can understand me. My voice went down a few octaves. So this is Śrīmad-Bhāgavatam, Canto 3, Chapter 6, Creation of the Universal Form, and it's the last verse in the chapter, text number 40. So I'm not going to read the Sanskrit, because obviously this class is not going to go half an hour overtime either. So I'll just read the translation and the purport. Words, mind, and ego. Words, mind, and ego, with their respective controlling demigods, have failed to achieve success in knowing the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Therefore, we simply have to offer that respectful obeisances, our respectful obeisances, unto Him as a matter of sanity. Purport. The froggish calculator may raise the objection that if the Absolute is unknowable, even by the controlling deities of speech, mind, and ego, namely the Vedas, Brahma, Rudra, and all the demigods headed by Brihaspati, then why should the devotees be so interested in this unknown object? The answer is that the transcendental ecstasy enjoyed by the devotees in delineating the pastimes of the Lord is certainly unknown to the non-devotees and mental speculators. Unless one relishes transcendental joy, one will come back from his speculations and concocted conclusions, because he will see them as neither factual nor enjoyable. The devotees can at least know that the absolute truth is the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Vishnu, as the Veda hymns confirm. Vedic hymns confirm. Om Tad Vishnu Paramam Padam Sada Pashanti Surayaha. Bhagavad Gita 15:15 also confirms the fact Vedaischa Savaraham Eva Vedya. By culture of Vedic knowledge, one must know Lord Krishna and should not falsely speculate on the word aham or I. The only method for understanding the supreme truth his devotional service as stated in the Bhagavad Gita 18:55. Bhakti mam abhijananti yavanyasyasmi tatvataha. Only by devotional service can one know the ultimate truth is the personality of Godhead, and that Brahman and Paramatma are only his partial features. This is confirmed in this verse by this great sage Maitreya. With devotion he offers his sincere surrender, namaha, to the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Bhagavate. One has to follow in the footsteps of great sages and devotees like Maitreya and Vidura, Maharaj Pariksha and Shukadeva Goswami, and engage in the transcendental devotional service of the Lord. If one would know his ultimate feature, which is above Brahman and Paramatma. Let's end the Bhaktivedanta purport of the third canto, 6th chapter of the Śrīmad-Bhāgavatam, entitled Creation of the Universal Form. Words, mind, and ego with their respective controlling demigods have failed to achieve success in knowing the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Therefore, we simply have to offer our respectful obeisances to him as a matter of sanity. Namo Vishnu Padaya Krishna Prasthaya Bhutaya Śrīmate Bhaktivedanta Swami Namane Namaste Saraswatunde Ve Gauravani Vacharane Nirvishesha Srinivadi Paskadyade Satarne. In Bhagavad Gita, Krishna says, Naham Prakasha Sarvasha Yogamaya Samavrita Mudoyam Nabijananti Lokoyam Ajam Aviyam. I've never manifested the foolish and the unintelligent. For them I am covered by my creative potency, Yogamaya, and so the deluded world knows me not. I'm unborn and inexhaustible. In other words, whatever consciousness we have presently is either due to the fact of our past fruitive activities, what we've chosen in the material world, and if we had some opportunity to associate with Krishna and his pure devotees, whatever part of their instructions and example we followed or are following. For the non-devotee, there is no, they have choices also. But from the point of view of the pure devotee, their choices are not really choices in one sense. Whether you choose brand A beer or brand B beer is a choice, but after all, you're dealing with beer. Similarly, we have goodness where the conditioned soul believes that he actually knows what's going on to one degree or another. And then we have passion where the conditioned soul believes he's actually going to do something in this material world to make a difference in the material world, build back better, so to speak. Or ignorance, where we couldn't care less about what's going to happen, just as long as there's some place to sleep and something to eat, everything's, as far as I'm concerned, is all right. So those are the choices the conditioned souls can experience in the material world. And then there's this idea that might be a God and that everything here might belong to him, and we may have some obligation to do something with his energy, and ultimately that he's a nice person, he's not doing it just to torture us, and we were in place here unfairly, and that we have to seek justice from something other than God. Take him to the Court of Appeals or something. So, here it explains that actually Krishna has his nature. We also have our nature originally. And that nature is that the only thing going on in the spiritual world is loving exchanges. There's nothing else going on. Now, if you don't like that, then the spiritual world would be a very uncomfortable place for such a person if he didn't like it. That if you go there with this enterprising spirit to improve the place, or if you go there to enlighten people of actually how it should be done here, or if you go there and you just try to find a comfortable, Chintamani cottage to rest in for some time, and when you feel like it, you'll engage some kind of service so that they don't throw you out of the Chintamani palace. If that's the attitude, it's the wrong place to go. In other words, to take a material attitude to a place where there's only selfless, ever-increasing loving exchanges, it wouldn't be a very comfortable place for someone with material consciousness to go to. Therefore, this material world is a training place where some souls graduate and most of them don't. So that's what we have to choose ourselves personally, whether we actually want to go to a place where we're going to be in love with God, Krishna, and love with everyone else. That we can go there and imagine ourselves that actually I always wanted to be here because I'm a gopi. And therefore eternally I'm going to, above the cowherd boys and the cows and everything else. And I'm not one of the 108, but who knows what the future has. Now, if we go there with that mentality, rather than being the servant of all the Krishna's servants there in love with everyone, then we will feel very uncomfortable there. Or if we have that mentality, then we'll feel right at home, because that's how everyone else feels there. When the gopis talk about the pastimes when Krishna separated in the forest with his cowherd boyfriends and the cows, the gopis, in the chapter 35 of the Krishna book, they talk about their love for Krishna, and they're not talking about their exploits in the bushes with Krishna. They're talking about the things like the cows, the ducks, the cranes, the clouds, the demigods coming and offering prayers. They're glorifying all these other devotees as great servants of Krishna, and they don't even mention, there's no real, of course there's some mention of the gopis, how the Jamuna, they're feeling separation from Krishna, and the Jamuna passes some of the aroma of Krishna to them, and how that increases their separation, etc. But the majority of the pastimes they're thinking about are not concerning even Radha and Krishna. They're just concerning the other residents of Vrindavan. So if we want to go there with a superior mentality, then we'll have a different mentality than Srimati Radharani, who feels herself grateful to all the servitors of Krishna in the spiritual world. And as she loves Krishna, she loves all the devotees, and feels herself to be the servant of all the devotees. And if we don't practice here becoming the servant of Krishna's servants, then we won't fit in there either. And Srimati Radharani and her company gopis will not let us to go there and disturb the situation there. Therefore, we have to practice here, and we have to know what we're supposed to practice. It's not just mechanical sadhana bhakti, which is good, the beginning. It's not just becoming expert at our particular service. It's actually really becoming interested in Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's mission, Yari Deka Tari Kaha Krishna Upadesh, Amara Agai Gurhana Tari Desh. That whoever we meet, we should try to think about, pray to Krishna for the intelligence, what to do and how to do it, in order to help this person make advancement towards Krishna. And if that's our meditation, then Krishna will give us all intelligence. And if we have some other meditation, then Krishna may give us some intelligence, but it won't help us really progress very much in spiritual life. It may help us progress in the modes of nature, but it won't really be engaging us in Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's mission. So I'll stop there. Thank you. Any questions or comments? Yes. I don't know, that was the last question you asked me the last time. Okay, let's see if it's how far off the class is. Well, I think in general we should be concerned about committing offenses, but we should try to find out at least one offense that we might be considering and eliminate it one at a time, rather than just walking around thinking I'm an offender, I'm an offender, I'm an offender. Everything I do is an offense. That might be true for all of us, because after all, if we're not pure devotees, then we must be something other than pure devotees. We might be aparad. As soon as we stop, as soon as we fall in love, as soon as we make sufficient progress, and we pass the sufficient number of tests that Krishna is giving us, so we become eligible to become actually pure devotees, then there won't be any more offenses. Although we'll feel ourselves to be the most offensive. In one sense, we'll feel the most humble. Out of love, by seeing how wonderful everyone else is, we'll actually feel ourselves insignificant. In the meantime, when we start thinking I'm an offender, there's a kind of sense gratification to that also, because that idea is also coming from Maya, trying to discourage us from actually getting free from our offenses. That I'm so offensive, I don't even want to start to figure out what one offense I can get rid of by engaging myself better in devotional service. Because we're not just trying to eliminate offenses, we're trying to improve our devotional service, which will actually eliminate our offenses. So when we see what our offenses are, we can see the other side of it and see how we can actually get rid of that offense by doing the positive, not just dwelling on the negative. Oh, I don't know, because there's so many circumstances. If everyone is sleeping in the room that you're sleeping with, or you're sleeping with the devotees, and you decide I'm an offender, I'm going to chant loudly, and you wake them all up, it probably won't be appropriate. As long as you didn't disturb anyone else, what's the problem? Maybe if you woke someone else up who was trying to sleep during japa, it might be a problem. But if no one's disturbed by it, or if you want to chant loudly, go outside. We have to use our intelligence. It's not like everything we do is either black or white, or there's no way around it. It's, Krishna is in our heart. If we actually, under certain circumstances, and we want to render service, if we pray to Krishna, He'll probably give us the intelligence how to arrange it in such a way is that we do it in the most appropriate way possible. What's that? Not necessarily. We have a hard enough time just dealing with our own chanting. I think we should concentrate on that. But we should consider different factors also, which that might be one of them. It's not that every day we sit down, we look around, see who's there, and try to hear what they're chanting, and then try to figure out how to arrange my chanting. No, we have to chant nicely, and Krishna will give us intelligence. Most of it is just common sense. It doesn't require well, if you get it wrong, someone will tell you eventually. Anything else? Thank you very much. Śrīmad-Bhāgavatam ki jai. Śrīla Prabhupada ki jai. Gaur Premanande. Hari Bol.